Good afternoon, friends. It's me, Carol, again with Tuesday Tea and Knitting today. I did want to mention, I used this in my last video as well, this teacup. It was made by one of my friends. She does ceramics. She has her own little pottery that she does. She has a shop on Etsy. It's called Black Oak Ceramics. And if you want to get one of her beautiful pieces of art, you need to follow her on her Instagram because she only drops on Etsy once in a while. So if you're lucky enough to get one of hers, it's beautiful. It fits your hand well. It feels good. I like it. It's one of my favorite cups. Now, on to knitting. I decided to do a little knitting today. Instead of crocheting. So I've been working on this blanket for 3 winters now because I wanted to get good at my just simple basic knitting, like just the knit stitch, purl stitch. So that's what I started with, and I started with a blanket because I didn't realize how long it would take. I should have just done a scarf. But I was gifted this yarn, and it's a beautiful color. It's one of my favorites, honestly, any kind of green. But I do love this shade of green, and so I wanted to make something for myself that I would be able to use every day. And, you know, the time put into it is not a waste because I'm learning to make neat, even stitches, you know, correct tension, and hopefully I will have the basic of knitting learned very well before I move on to more complicated patterns. And like I said, I've been working on it in the winter time. I don't work on it in the summertime because it's just simply too warm. Who wants to work on a blanket in the summer? So I pull it out in the winter when it seems appropriate weather-wise. And I love doing this because with crochet I do a lot of different patterns, a lot of different things, and this is very, very repetitive, and so I can sit here and do the same stitch over and over, and it's very soothing and calming and peaceful, and that's kind of why I got into crocheting in the first place. It was very soothing. Well, then I started getting into learning new patterns, and sometimes working with yarn or hooks that aren't as nice to work with, and crocheting things, making things that other people ask for, which I like to do, but sometimes it can be a little complicated. So not everything I crochet is my favorite thing to do, but making blankets is top. Is number one, whether it's knitting or crocheting. I love making blankets, especially if it's just a repetitive stitch that I can just do over and over. It makes it easy to listen to a podcast or to watch a show in the evening, or even just talk with my family. You know, I don't have to be reading a pattern at the same time or counting stitches. I can just go for it. So I really enjoy working on this blanket, and I have a lot of memories in it because I worked on it a lot. And you know, when you're doing something with your hands and maybe watching something or listening to someone, or maybe in a vehicle going somewhere, those memories get worked into your stitches. And so if I was working on it while listening to a certain type of music, or maybe my son was telling me a story, I'd put it down, come back to it later, and that story or that music comes to mind. So that is one thing I like about this as well. the yarn I'm using today for this blanket is, let's see if I can get it out here, because I don't remember what it's called. It is called Premier Puzzle Yarn. I do like Premier yarns next to Lion Brand. This one is called Dominoes. That's the color of it. And it's a bulky 5 weight, but I would say it's a little bit on the light side for a bulky. I do love the way the colors look in the blanket. And I should show you what I'm keeping it in, because you know how it is when you have a project, if you don't have a specific place to keep it, it can get messed up. So I keep it in this backpack at all times. It's made for yarn. You can see the holes there to put your yarn through. I've attached a little holder for my needles. It unscrews, and I keep my tapestry needles in here. It has places to put your crochet hooks in. On the back side, on my keychain, on the back side, you can put patterns or knitting needles, whatever you need. Plenty of pockets. It has some pockets inside as well. I got this backpack from Amazon. My sister got it for me off of my wish list. I had it on my wish list for a while, and when I got it, I was a little surprised. It turned out to be a much bigger backpack than I had anticipated. And let's see, I think I got my yarn turned around here. Yeah, so it turned out to be a much bigger backpack than I anticipated, so I don't actually wear it on my back, but it's where I keep my knitting projects, so that's my knitting backpack. I actually have another bag for my crochet, which is not actually a backpack, it's more of a handbag. So that's one way to keep my knitting and crocheting separate. So, speaking of crochet, the sweater I'm wearing, you may have noticed, is crochet. It's what I made a while back, probably over a year ago. It's one of my favorite patterns. It's from the Easy Design, and she has a lot of patterns. This one is called the Ashley Cropped Cardigan. I like it. It is very simple because it has front panels, back panels, sleeve panels, and then you sew them together. There's also some edging, which I always like the ribbed edging, and no buttons or anything like that. It stays, and it's very easy for a cardigan. I've made multiple of these for other people, and I made them for myself, and in different colors, and I love them every time. Like every time I make one, I just think how comfortable it is. Now, it's not something I like to work in because it tends to be very, very warm. And the long sleeves, I love long sleeves if I'm just going to an event where I'm just sitting around. I can put my hands in the sleeve. They're nice and long. It's warm and cozy, so if you're not moving around much and you need something to keep you warm, this is the sweater for you. It is warm while still looking, you know, lovely, and it's just perfect for a cozy, you know, fall, winter afternoon. Like I said, I don't do a lot of housework in it just simply because of the sleeves and because it's so warm. But I do like it if I'm looking for something to cozy up in. So that is what is on my mind today, and it's been lovely chatting with you.